Hello, partners. In this report, we're going to salute someone very, very special. And our honoree is a woman. Over the years, I think we have saluted too few women. But our early founding fathers, well, were just that, fathers, men. So this week, a very special woman. A woman who should be honored, and you'll see why. You're going to love her. Unfortunately, most of us were not told very much about her when we were in school. And what's sad, we're going to change that and it's going to be happy again. You'll probably have never heard of this woman, but it's likely that you have only heard a little about her efforts back in the 1800s. That's awful jumbled, but don't worry, you'll hear it. Name is Harriet Tubman. She was born a slave in the March of 1822. But before her life ended in 1913, she managed to escape, start a network of safe houses for other escaped slaves, and single-handedly helped nearly 100 slaves to escape. Harriet decided to end her bondage when she was in her teens. One of her angry masters threw a big piece of metal at her, and it hit her in the head, nearly killed her. And all of her life she was plagued with spells of double vision and headaches, and would often fall asleep at odd times. She had learned enough about geography to know which way north was, and she managed to make her way to freedom in Philadelphia. In that city she learned about the growing abolitionist movement in the North, and more importantly, she learned about what was called the Underground Railroad, a series of safe houses along the way from the south to the north that would give safe haven to escaping slaves. Stories of her efforts slowly made their way south through word of mouth. Soon, most of the enslaved people in the South knew about her. And friends, when they gathered to sing the old hymn, "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," coming along, they were thinking, car coming for to carry me home. Well, they were singing the word chariot, but in their minds, they were thinking of Harriet. Yes, she became a living symbol of freedom for millions. More than a dozen times she risked her life and returned to the South. She could have been captured as she brought others to the North. During the Civil War, President Lincoln asked her to undertake another mission. He gave her a gun and asked her to become an official spy for the Union. If someone saw her crossing the lines, they'd assume that she was just trying to free some more slaves, and they wouldn't think she was a spy on a special mission. During the critical part of the war, she actually led a contingent of soldiers to free nearly 1,000 slaves, becoming the first woman to officially lead an army unit. After the war, she became active in women's rights groups and pushed for women to have the right to vote. She even established an old age home in New York for aging former slaves. When she died in 1913, she was hailed as a hero, but in the years since, our memory of her have begun to fade. Now, there's a push to put her picture on the $20 bill, and this will replace Andrew Jackson. Well, think about this. After all, Tubman was a crusader for freedom, and Andy Jackson, aside from being remembered for the Battle of New Orleans, was single-handedly responsible for the death of thousands of Native Americans when he marched them to the reservations. And what is remembered? The Trail of Tears. Okay, pals, another remember, don't forget her name, Harriet Tubman, a symbol of freedom for many, a former slave who escaped and then risked her life to go back to the South and help others find freedom. A spy for the North, a leader for women's rights, Harriet Tubman. Okay, partners, you know the drill. Look up there at this, find that big old red X at the top right. Click on that. Don't click on anything else, and you'll be whooshed back to the week's newsletter telling you what's happening. I love you guys. So much fun sitting there visiting with you together. Man, Dennis, keep bringing me those names of people that it's going to mean so much to our country. I love you. Go get 'em, Tigers!